Hello, everybody. I'm EdParcaut here, Brian Galke, and we are Aces 53. And if you don't
Yes.
know what that stands for, you haven't been around. I'm just kidding. It stands for attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, and smile. It's something I learned in college. It was four aces and a joker. Aces is exactly what I just said. The joker is that unique ability you have or something you learn. And the 53rd card in the deck is the first joker. And that's why we call it Aces 53. And we normally talk about, I don't know, everything to do with marketing, branding, being the authority in your industry. That was really what our big push was this year, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, last year was more on sales. Then what we realized is more people want to be seen and found. And so that's kind of how it transitioned over this. And then it was us playing around with things, social media, you name it, posting, seeing how to get likes, how to get haters, which is one of our favorites. And then that's where a lot of the guests
It's
are.
not
The
like we're
guests,
trying to get haters. It just they
right.
come out of the woodwork, and if they're
Well,
going to be
not
there,
running
you
the
want to
playbook.
use them for what they're good
Exactly.
for. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hate.
and it seems like a lot of the guests that come on want to share their story and how they got to where they are versus buy my course. And so that seemed like a natural progression to go away from sales is still important, but how do you get known and seen first so that you can sell second?
I mean, you need to know how to sell, because if you get seen and there's all of a sudden, then you don't know how to sell. But we were just like, how do you become the noise out there? There's so much noise now.
Oh yeah.
I'm a specialist in high level. I'm a specialist in this. Everybody who was crypto specialists is now are specialists in high level
Yes.
and other stuff like that. And there are some good people out there who do that stuff, and I've had a few of them, but it's really about how do you rise above everybody else so people can find
Exactly.
you. That's what our
Yes.
big goal is. How do
Mhm.
people find you? Because if you can't be found, I don't care what they say about branding and everything else, you just doesn't matter. You can
Yeah.
brand all day long, but if you're not marketing it right or getting it to the right people, it doesn't matter.
So I got started in this journey. Like one of the first things I ever followed was Grant Cardone. And he's got a lot of good sayings. As a matter of fact, when we had Pat on the other week, he's talked a lot about Grant. But one of the things that always stuck out was you have to get out of obscurity, because if his whole thing is if they don't know you, they can't flow you, which I get.
Well,
But you're right. There's so much out there right now, and everybody's a new expert in something every other week. It gets confusing for people. It really does.
yeah, I mean, because I was told I was the best kept secret, and that was the problem.
Ah, there you go. See, that's another way to look at it.
Yeah. They were like, "You're the best kept secret." I'm like, "Because I can only work with so many people in the real estate industry, right?
Right.
You can have only so many real estate agents and financial planners and attorneys and other things that you deal with. You just won't. You just you can't support them all. I don't care how much you
Right.
put into place. So you're limited. So what did I want to do differently now? Is tell other people how I got there.
Hmm.
Because I mean, a lot of people don't have a radio show. A lot of other people don't have
Correct.
multiple podcasts, do multiple lives a week, all the stuff. Been in a documentary, wrote a book.
I was gonna say,
I've
yeah,
had a luck with a bunch of stuff, and luck is where opportunity meets preparation. So
yes, that's just it. That going back to you made it sound like it was very flippant. Oh, I was in a documentary, but for people who haven't listened before, you got turned on to it, right? You got the introduction, but they said, "Okay, can you be here in a few days?" And you had to make it happen.
this was a Thursday or Friday, and they wanted me back, and that was in San Diego, but they were in Huntington Beach, and I was flying out to back home to Modesto.
Right.
And so, so they asked me on Thursday, and I'm like, yeah, let me see if I can move some things around. Of course, you don't want to be too eager.
Right.
So I just told my wife, hey, I'm flying up here, and then I got to turn around and come right back. And
Yeah.
I did it very expensively,
Hmm.
because I needed to fly into Huntington Beach, which was Burbank Airport, which Jet Suites flew from Oakland to there, got
Yeah.
me there an hour before I was supposed to talk, rented a very expensive vehicle because they were
Hmm.
the closest rental place right there, and then drove there. And I was there, got there 10 minutes before, and then they talked to me for 2 hours on camera and used an hour and a half of it. So,
Wow. See, but if you had said
and again, it was
no,
a special one. It was not a documentary on Netflix. It was not a
yeah.
documentary. It was a unique documentary for the Avengers Real Estate. Put that thing on. It's the
Hmm.
Avengers. They wanted to know how people made money in the real estate industry, and then they had me because I had a radio show and all the other stuff. Plus, I was in the mortgage industry.
The important part about that, though, is you made it happen. You had all the reasons to ignore it and go, well, I don't need to spend the money right now. Well, I've been away from home instead. And this is what I'm a huge fan of. My answer is go, because you can always leave. So if something's coming to your town, buy the cheapest ticket, go, you can always leave. But you saying yes is what gave you that opportunity to set just a little bit higher than a lot of other people, because people now see you in a documentary. You already said, I'm an author. You've got radio shows, podcasts, all these things, instead of just going, well, I put out one book, or, well, I've been on a podcast. It's consistently putting yourself out there in multiple mediums in different ways.
Right. And I got to tell you, I'm my worst years are other people's best years, and it's not trying to brag, but my worst years are horrible for me. So, you know what I mean? It's when you're used to a certain level and then you got knocked down, and then you have to the one thing that was positive about all this is re-looking at everything you're doing and what do you really need to do and how do you make changes? How much can you automate? How much can you do other things? How much can you use AI to do? I don't believe in having chat box, talk to my people. I have to talk to my people. That is my voice. I mean, one day when they learn my voice and everything else, that'll be totally different.
Well, and it depends on what you sell. If you sell an off-the-shelf product, a bot is completely fine to handle a majority of the conversations, especially for a low-ticket item. Something under $500, let a bot handle it, no problem. You need so much information for what you do, and it's got to be custom every single time, that it would be damn near impossible to truly AI automate that. Like, I love Manoj, but there's no way to automate what you do. Now, there is,
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's getting close because I have high level set up on my stuff. And when I go to reply to a text, it's got this auto generated. And I would say 1 out of 3 times it's perfect. But I mean, but sometimes it's all this other stuff that you don't want. That's not me. That's not my voice. It hasn't learned you yet.
Right. So. I was just talking with Joel because he was in town for a Go High Level event, and he was talking about that's what a lot of people are doing now. If you see a lot of people on social media saying, "Hey, I'm giving away this free thing, DM me the word, blah blah blah," whatever it is, that's what kicks off an automated series of bots to respond and chat with you, and then they set up the discovery call where then you hop on the call with the person. And I even hate saying discovery call because everybody knows it's a sales pitch. I signed up for something over the weekend to support a fellow speaker, and I've been inundated every day with, "Hey, you need to book your call. This isn't a sales call. This is to get you, in the right mindset." And I'm like, they're going to pitch you.
Yeah, mindset. Anytime they word mindset, they're trying to sell you
mindset,
something.
Discovery call, you name it. Just call it what it is. Say, "Hey, this is a consulting call. See if you're the right fit for our whatever." But under the guise, when I had my first coach, they were just like, "Hey, you just got to get people on a discovery call. That's how you get your clients. That's how you do all these things." And it's true. But now I think people are wise to that. And so people avoid discovery calls. They're just like, I'm either going to buy your product or I'm going to buy in. Now, if it's a very high-end ticket offer, 15 to 100,000, you want to be on the phone with someone before you click yes for payment.
Yeah. I mean, that's easier stuff. I mean, the automate. I had a lady out in her Edison the other day, and she was talking about how she automates 85% of her business. Her VA handles another 10, and she handles 5. But it's a totally different thing. It's what she's selling and what she's doing. She has a $9 content creator that will go back and search your stuff and put out content daily for you.
Wow.
For $9 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Why is it not in $29.95 or $19.95?
Yeah. Did you see this weekend? I guess Canva just announced a bunch of AI tools as well.
No, dude, I was completely off everything this weekend. Completely. I was Friday. I had to go. I got to see my son up in Chico. We met him and had brunch and everything. And then I'm like, I'm done for this weekend. I'm not going to do anything. I didn't do any of my podcast stuff I was supposed to do until this morning. Or today's Tuesday. Yeah, this morning before they were supposed to go out. So I'm like, I'm done. I need a break.
Yeah.
Because that's usually I'll record on a holiday, right? The Monday, right. And we're like, no recordings at all on Monday. None.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a particular holiday that I think, especially with you being a veteran, working with veterans and everything else, it's a very honored holiday versus, oh, well, today is just some arbitrary day that, we need an extra day off of school or work or whatever. But this Memorial Day has a meaning for a lot of people, because even if somebody hasn't
served, it's about the fallen people.
Exactly.
It's Veterans Day is about all veterans.
Right.
Yesterday was about the fallen who didn't make it home.
Right. And that's what I mean. Even if you haven't been in the military, somebody has a family member who has been in it and understands, well, I can't say fully understands, has an idea of what yesterday represented, because everyone who's been in the military has lost someone, or someone has lost someone who's been in the military. And so it is. You look, yesterday was one of the first days that a majority of the posts were positive. There's always some jackasses that are out there who want to just stir up stuff, and but for the most part, yesterday seemed like a thank you for those who gave their lives, and a lot more families coming together, barbecues, boats, you name it, whatever it was, where people cherish the people that are still, that they're able to spend time with, versus a lot of other holidays are just drunken excursions. So
that's if you get around family.
It's
the only way you can deal with them.
That's right. Drink. Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
You were talking earlier about getting out there, getting noticed and everything. It's amazing that we live in a day and age where you can offer courses on something you don't do, but yet if it looks good, people will sign up for it. And so a very, very popular one right now is speaking. There are numerous people out there who offer speaker training, but yet they're not paid speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some people are like, well, I don't have to be paid because I'm going to make my money off coaching in the back end or whatever, the thing is, but that's not
what
the
they
way.
Say, those who can't do, teach.
Exactly. And that's, the number one things that I'm saying, not number one, I'd say the top handful of things I'm saying is obviously I can teach you AI. That's one. I can teach you to be a speaker. I can build your funnel. And you really have to do your due diligence. And that's why the importance of getting this stuff out there is because people are going to start doing their research and they need to see an idea of who you are. What does your voice sound like? Are you consistent? Or did you go and have somebody do a ClickFunnels for you that looks really good, but you're not going to be able to deliver on anything? And that's what I think, having this kind of content, getting out there, consistently posting, putting things out there, having an opinion matters.
I agree. And another, that same person I interviewed, she did, before she goes, before you create any courses, put out there through your email list or whatever, and let them know that you're going to create a course, what it is, and you're giving it to them at a discount pre-launch. And then ask them, what would you like to see in this on top of what everything else I had? I was like, wow. She goes, yeah, because it only takes you 2 months to create a course. Right. Why are you wasting all that time to see if the market even wants it?
That's a good point.
And she was like, yeah, I did that on a bunch of mine and blah, blah, blah. And she has 3 courses. And she said, I did on each one of them. And then there was through that, every time she sends her emails, there's a upsell in them about, hey, you can do this, or did you know now that you can do this, you can do this, this, and this with my other stuff. So cross sells and everything. I was like, wow. And she's young, 27, 24.
24. See, can you imagine? I wasted way too much
time. The difference that we have opportunities today that we didn't have when we were that age.
Correct.
Right? There was not this stuff. There's so many opportunities, almost to a point where it's too much opportunities. People go, what should I do? There's even companies now who will set up to help you get all your affiliate stuff sent together. But you first got to sign up for $27 a month. And then it's $47 a month going forward to help you.
You're right. I had a conversation. I can't remember what podcast I was on, and it's about outdated advice. Well, so it used to be if you said entrepreneur, that meant you couldn't get a job.
That was consultant before entrepreneur.
Too, yeah. Because if you look at it, back in our grandparents' age, parents' age, there were only corporate jobs. You didn't have the internet. You couldn't really get to a lot of different things. So the advice of go to school, get a good job, get married, die, that was what everybody followed because that was the only option. There was no 24-hour fitness. There was no internet. It was you either went to a bookstore and you bought books, you rented them from the library. By the time you got through most stuff, it was outdated. You didn't, if you wanted to build a product, you had to go to a factory either in the US or China and buy 10,000 shirts to find out if they were going to sell. You have the ability now to do one-off runs, to do so many different things that our previous generations could not do. And now it's kind of like, well, why have a corporate job? Insurance is a good reason. And don't get me wrong, there are good corporations that are out there, but the advice of go to school, get a job isn't necessarily the best advice anymore. It was good for previous generations, but is it for current?
Well, again, it just there's so much opportunity. It's just a matter of jumping on it. I was
Mhm.
listening to her going, wow, I didn't even think about this stuff. And this, and I think that's the problem. The older you are, the more stuff you have set in your ways and
Yes.
things that, or you've been doing it for so long, you're like,
Mhm.
everybody knows it. No, they don't. They don't know it. The stuff that sells the most is the beginning stuff.
Yes.
The little stuff you would think they would know is,
Mhm.
and it's funny because someone was selling those, I think it was on Instagram, whatever, those mats about, how to do the shortcuts for Apple, and had all the
Yes.
shortcuts on Apple on this mat. And you're like,
Yeah.
but I remember all those, but people don't.
That's
People
exact
don't memorize like I do. And that's my problem. My memory, I can remember everything. That's why I was divorced twice. But my wife now goes, no, you don't. Anyway, but it's you, and you're like, those things, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can recall stuff. See, and
Mhm.
we put our own beliefs on other people, and we shouldn't.
That's exactly it. I didn't learn keyboard shortcuts until I took a programming class. And once I learned, oh, well, you program it in, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I could use all these instead of right click, copy, right click, paste. And it's amazing me that because I took that class, like you said, it's stuck in my head. And I'd go do presentations. People are like, well, how are you doing that without right clicking? I'm like, you just control alt this, command this, and like, what? And so we forget what we're exposed to that other people have no freaking idea.
Yeah.
And I'll get haters for this one for sure. I'm amazed at how many people can memorize some sports figure's entire athletic history, but don't know simple shit about life. And it blows me away. Don't get me wrong. If I get tickets to go to anything, I will go. I will have an amazing time. But I only have so much space in here, and it's not meant to memorize other people's statistics. It makes no sense to me why people do that.
It's like football, right? I love the Broncos. They're my team. And they'll
Mhm.
ask me, I have no fucking idea.
Oh yeah, fantasy football to me is a
Dude, I just want
complete
to watch the game and like
exactly.
people to win. I know who the quarterback is and a couple of the wide receivers and the running. I don't know everybody else. I don't care what their stats are.
Yeah. Well, living here in Dallas, obviously, right now the Stars are doing really well. I can't name a single Stars player, and of course the Mavs. We have Luca, and so I know Luca. But you ask me who any of the other Mavs players are, the guys that play with Luca. It's just I will go to events, and I'm lucky that I have some friends who have suites and things of that nature that I get to go to some really cool stuff a lot. But as far as like memorizing who the people are and where they came from and what teams they were on before, why do I care? I'm here to watch a current game, not relive their life. And that's the way it's always been. So I've been kind of an outsider in that of I like to watch sports, but I don't make it a priority.
No, that's like I played soccer as a kid, which is
Mhm.
just because
So
I'm
did
out of
I.
Modesto and actually Turlock High School. That was just something. Actually, I got kicked out. It was a long story, but anyway. Uh, so when I got out on soccer, and I did really well because I had big legs and I could run and I was a sweeper. But so I like soccer, which
Yeah.
other places call football, and I like football. I went out for football, but it was 3 days in a freaking 110-degree summer. No, thank you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not what I want to do. But what I'm getting at is my team is Manchester City, and most people don't even know who they are. And
Right.
they
They know
don't, I
Man
don't,
U. Yeah.
huh?
They know
What?
Man U, right?
Exactly. But
Yeah.
they won the Premier League, by the way.
Mm.
And I picked them just because it was one of those things. I was looking for a team. I'm like, I like that. I don't want Manchester United. I don't want what everybody else jumps on. And do I know all the players' names? No, but I know their faces.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
anyway, but that's it. I don't, yeah, what you're saying. And the other thing is people spend so much time on so many other things and they don't know anything about their wife.
oh yeah.
Why don't you guys
That
focus on your spouse?
your family, your friends. I just bought
Forget your
a deck
friends.
of cards
I'm just kidding.
for yeah, actually for going to my parents' house next time we go, and it's cards that you can ask them questions. So you just pull something from a deck, and it's random questions because we don't sit
Is
around.
that in that
We love,
box? That was like dark box. I can't remember what it
yeah.
is.
It's
My
let me
wife
see.
has it next to her. She
Yeah,
pulls
hold
out
on.
them all the time.
Hey,
Yeah.
bring me that little box right there of cards. I have child labor here with me today, so I'm having her grab it
And
for
it's
me.
a holiday. It's
Yeah,
how
exactly.
everything
Well,
was
she's out of
created.
school now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Texas got out last Friday. And so now we're on the summer week. So when she's not at camp and doing other things, she is here in the background with me. But
Yeah. It's nice to have an assistant then, huh?
it is. If she could only learn to make coffee, that'd be awesome. So here it is. It's called Tails.
Oh, that's not it. That's different.
Yeah. And so it just asks you, it's just 150 different prompts of questions, and you just get to ask something. Now, I will tell you, and I'll give credit to this one to my ex-wife. There is, I think it's called Storyworth. It's where you can sign up to have an elder, and not anybody older than you, or even a sibling or anything like that, where it sends them a question a week that they have to answer, and it sends you back the details. And at the end of the 1-year subscription or whatever, you can turn it into a book. But it's an interesting way to hear more about other people. So let me see what it's called. Storyworth is the name of it.
All right. So these are those things that you get to know the people in your life more. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you really need to also get your list together more than anything else today, because that's where the money's at. And people, even as I say this, that's something I'm working on right now, because I do have one that I've been beating on forever, which is my mortgage people, but I have a bunch of other ones from all my podcasts. The positive thing is now when they sign up through my stuff to sign up for my podcast, they're automatically in stuff again. Right. And
nice.
you know, I mean, that's high level, dude. It's automatically, you can make they're in your system already. Right. Where if you do it through like any of the other email stuff, they're in your email. You have to download them and get them over. This one is already there. So
that's a good idea for a future episode. Is we should do a CRM. Are you using the CRM the proper way? We need to find a CRM expert who talks about not just people coming in through your lead magnet, but what's the best practices for a CRM. We should find.
Let's get a hold of high level guy.
I'll see.
And I'm not talking Joel. I'm talking like
directly
from high level. Yeah. Alec. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he can refer you to somebody that's all they specialize in. Because what you want to do, it's this stuff. It's like the medical field. All right. If I have cancer, a certain cancer, I want to go to that specialist. That's what I like about Kaiser. They don't have all the different specialists in every hospital. They have them in certain places. So if you need that, you go to that guy. He's the best, or the 3 that are there are the best. That's what you should do with everything you're dealing with, your email list, your CRM, all that kind of stuff. You need to find who the best is and use them.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we have it's a girl that's been on the podcast before. Her name's Karen. And I noticed she was kind of all of a sudden she's consistently posting. This is somebody who was fearful to post, once a week, anything like that. And so I reached out to her over the weekend. I said, "Hey, I see you posting a lot. What kind of lit the fire under your butt?" And she said, "I hired a VA." And so she went and found and vetted a VA that she liked, and she's letting somebody else handle that for her. So it goes back to the whatever scared her was posting and putting herself out there. Well, when the VA does it, she doesn't have to think about it. So it goes back to kind of what we've been talking about before, and that is do things yourself at first and then pawn off whatever you can so you're freed up to do the things that you're better at.
And I think what we need to also do is find somebody who's really good at finding good VAs.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because I'm still, they want to act, how all these people hit you up and they want, I can do this for you. All I need to do is be a manager on your thing. Okay, sure. Yeah.
That's my big fear. I've heard of horror stories that people get locked out of their own stuff.
Why don't you talk to her and find out how she got that, and we can bring back next week, because we're going to cut this one short today because it is a holiday week, and we'll be back on Thursday with a Joker.
So. Yeah, but remember, we are going to take a week off.
That's next week?
Yeah, next week, because we're starting the summer and things like that. I'm going to be traveling, taking kiddo stuff. So yeah.
Right. Well, we can remind people on Thursday that we're not here next week.
Perfect.
I don't want to not show up on this week Thursday.
That's true. We will be here Thursday, just not the following next Tuesday. Week.
That's right. And that's June, the first week of June.
Yep. I know. I can't believe we're already halfway through the year.
You know what that means? I have like 4 more weeks of being the president of Rotary.
Oh, there you go.
No one's counting down the days, but counting down the weeks.
Yep.
All right, everybody, make it a great day. Thanks for being here today. We really appreciate you. If you like what we do here, the easiest way to support us is just go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, and we will talk to you on Thursday.